Billy Lindsay had a long career in the NHL, including some very memorable moments with the Florida Panthers. You hear him now with Doug Plagans on the radio calls for the Panthers games. By the way, you can hear every Stanley Cup Finals game right here, Crowder, on 560 WQAM. Did you see by any chance, Crowder, the video Doug Plagans posted of the radio booth at the end of the game when they punched their ticket to the finals?
They went crazy. It looked like my house. When them boys got around that puck in the corner, we were wide open.
They went crazy. I was watching that video that Plagans posted, Billy. You related. You love this team, right? I'm not talking about this particular incarnation of the team, which I'll get to, but you love the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, the franchise. It's been home for so long. Even when I got traded around, I always kept a home down in South Florida, and getting to work with the organization after, it's just had a hard, not only the Panther franchise, just the whole community in South Florida. From the minute that I came over from Quebec Nordiques in the expansion draft and got off the plane for training camp and down in Miami, I was in love. I was like, we're going to play hockey here. This is this is phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. The beach, the sand, and just gravitated towards it. The community was so welcoming, and just it was my home. And because of that, with this Panther franchise and everything that it means to me, yes, I guess the word, deep love for the Panthers and basically all of South Florida. It's my home, and that's where I reside along with my wife.
And Billy, is the disrespect going to stop? We were talking about it earlier, where Tampa's three hours away, and Hawk makes a great point. They have some Stanley Cups there, but are we stopping the disrespect of Sunrise, Florida, in the NHL landscape, the fans' eyes? Where I hear them talk about it, and they're like, "Yeah, those Panthers." Are we getting respect now? Now we've been back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Yeah, that's done. And especially the state of Florida. This is 5 straight cups for the state of Florida. 3 for Tampa Bay, and if we win the Stanley Cup, that would be 3 of the last 5 Stanley Cups to reside down in Florida. No more jokes. Out the window. That's a tired story. It's old. It's done. We got 17 to 18,000 almost every night during the regular season. We're stuffing it up over 20,000 rabid fans. Without the Heat being in the finals, we got CBS, ABC, NBC, half-hour pregame shows. It's rocking. Everything's loud, and you can't put us down anymore.
What about Edmonton? As long as we're going to give love to South Florida here, and we all love it down here. We all live here for a reason. We don't know anything about Edmonton. I've never been. Crowder's never been. Solana's never been. I've been to Canada a number of times. I've never been to Edmonton. What can you tell us about that city? Is there anything to do there? Is it a big city, small city? What is Edmonton?
You can see your dog run away for 2 days. It's flat. It's in the prairies. So there's not a lot to break the wind, all the wind that comes funneling through there, but beautiful. It does have a river that kind of flows all through downtown. It's beautiful. It's scenic. This is the time of year to go. Canada, when you get into late June, July, August, and early September, it's some of the best weather that you can experience. You get up around 80 degrees during the day, and then it cools off right at night. 45, you can open up your window. Edmonton is a fun city. There's lots to do there. If you like outdoor stuff, there, hunting, fishing, camping, anything along those lines. You get up there, there's going to be just a wealth of it. Their fan base, it's been a minute for them too, but they have a rich history, and it's going to be the Panthers not only against Edmonton, but it's going to be against the whole of Canada somewhat.
I was just about to ask that.
A lot of Canada all of a sudden became Oilers fans.
Right.
I was going to ask that. Would the Leafs and would the Jets, Canadians, would they back the Oilers now?
I would suspect most of them. I was actually watching the golf tournament yesterday, the Canadian Open, with the PGA guys, and a couple of their broadcasters that they have came out, and Colton Oast had his Stars jersey on. He got booed, and then Amanda Balionis, who does a lot of the interviews, She came out with this was being played just outside Toronto, this tournament. She came out with an Austin Matthews jersey in her hand and an Edmonton Oilers jersey in her hand and got the crowd riled up to which one she would wear. And the support was for the Oiler jersey. And that's just outside of Toronto over putting on the Austin Matthews jersey. So if you think Leafs fans could turn for one series, you betcha. It sounds like just from that kind of reaction, yes, they can.
All right. Well, it starts Saturday, and it starts here. What kind of series should we expect with the Edmonton Oilers? How excited are you? I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, to watch Connor McDavid and Sasha Barkov on the ice. Like, what are we looking for in this series?
You got the star power. You got to be able. You're not going to stop Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. You have to contain them. You have to try and limit the damage that they can do. They're just too good of players. The goal that McDavid scored last night is off the charts. Speed. So you got to stay out of the penalty box. The power play that they have is incredibly lethal. Panthers have to be disciplined. Panthers, same mindset, though. Just go after it. And can this Edmonton team, once you get down further past Draisaitl, McDavid, second, third, fourth lines, are they deep enough to keep up with this Panthers team? And can Florida go out there and pound and forecheck and get in and make Edmonton pay a price like they did to Boston, like they did to Tampa, like they did to the Rangers? They were mean, they were physical, and it added up throughout the course of the series. And the attrition to stay with this Panther group for 60 minutes, no one has proven that they can do that. There's going to be quick strike ability on the other side with Edmonton. The question mark around the Oilers, the one thing you're going to have to really pay attention to is Stuart Skinner, their goaltender. It's been up and down. He actually got pulled earlier in the playoffs and was wondering if he was going to get back into the net. He did. But the Panthers faced Vasilevsky, Vezina Trophy winner, Swayman in Boston, playing the best hockey of his life, and Shesterkin. And now you get Skinner, and the Panthers put a load of shots on the net. They get up around 35 a night. So this is gonna really test the Edmonton goaltender. Does he hold up Bobrovsky the other way? A lot of it's going to come down to keeping this matchup 5-on-5 for the Panthers and try and just contain and limit the two big guns on the other side. But it's awesome for us in the NHL to have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl coming to town. That's on a whole nother level, and there's going to be a lot of intrigue and a lot of interest around this series.
And I don't want to give the opponent any credit because I'm a Panthers fan, been to a bunch of games. My kids love the game, Billy. But this Connor McDavid can play a little hockey. Is there any way that we could just put a guy on him and don't skate anywhere else? Like if you have he's like Michael Jordan, like is there a way just to not let him beat you?
You have to make him. You can't put one guy on him because he's blitzing. He's like a video game. If you a video game player on ice, that's the way he's got so much moves and so many moves in his arsenal. The one way to diffuse it is go through layers. If he beats one guy, there's immediately another guy that he has to beat. And sometimes he can get through that and beat two or three guys. It's a challenge. There's so much that he can do, but it's the speed. You have to be able to shut down the speed of McDavid. If he gets wound up and gets going, he can create so much. And the 5-on-4, their power play, they had 4 power play goals the last 2 games against Dallas. That's why they won that series. When it starts, and the Rangers, they could move it around, but no disrespect to anyone out there. This Edmonton power play is sick when you watch it and they start going. And Connor McDavid is the head of that kind of leads everything. So every time that Edmonton gets a power play, you're going to have a pit in your stomach. It's impossible not to. So can they stop the speed of McDavid? Yes, you're going to have to just try and cut him down through the neutral zone, muddy the waters up, make him dump the puck in, make him forecheck. If that happens, it becomes harder for McDavid, and just don't give him anytime there's extra ice, 5-on-4, 4-on-4 kind of hockey, he's going to exploit you.
Even with McDavid and Draisaitl, Panthers are favorites. And I was curious why you think this Panthers team is so good. Is it because they're so deep? You can get to the fourth line. You still have legit players. Is it because Paul Maurice's style of play? Is it because of the superstars like Sasha Barkov? Is it Sergei Bobrovsky? Is it a little bit of everything? Like, what makes them so good? What makes them the favorite to be the Stanley Cup winners?
They are good at everything. What makes them is that the defensive structure that Paul Maurice has put in, it's so tough to play against, and that's why you're talking about slowing Connor McDavid and this group down. But coming through the middle of the ice, teams don't get odd man rushes. They don't get 3-on-2s. They don't get 2-on-1s. The forecheck is so heavy and so relentless. They spend so much time down deep in your own end, in the other end, just playing offense. And the best defense can be a good offense. That's the case for the Panthers. They just wear you down shift after shift, and they keep coming shots at the goaltender. And then when it does come the other way and you got Sergei Bobrovsky to go through and make the saves, you have an elite goaltender. So I guess it's just kind of the wave after wave approach with this team. And when you wear teams down like that, the legs get heavy. It's impossible not to. That's the greatest key to success. They've outscored the opponent 23-10 in the third period, a +13 goal differential. It's just, I haven't seen it. The Panthers at their best, when the Rangers were playing their best, that was the Panthers were able to stay with them at their average. When the Panthers were at the best, they couldn't keep up. When the Panthers were against Boston, they were playing their best, they couldn't hang with them. Same thing with Tampa Bay, even with all their star power. When the Panthers are going and humming, they couldn't. And that's why the Panthers probably favored in this series, because once you get beyond Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, second, third, and fourth lines, it swings the pendulum heavy in the favor of the Panthers. And if they play their style, I'm just intrigued to see if even a team like Edmonton can stay with this Panther group for 60 minutes or even more if it goes to overtime.
Real quick, Billy, because we're out of time and I know you got stuff to do.
Yep.
Solana is at a bar Saturday night in Coconut Grove. He wants to watch. He's with 30 friends. They want to watch this closeout Panthers game. 12 giant TVs at the bar. None of them on the Panthers game. Solana asks the general manager and the bartenders, hey, we're all here to watch the Panthers. And they kind of poo-poo it. Panthers what? Panthers who? We don't know how to change the channels. Would a young Billy Lindsay have just wrecked that bar and kicked everyone's ass?
I would have grabbed the remote. I would have done it even today. I would have found a remote somewhere. I wouldn't have kicked someone's ass or anything, but I would have went and grabbed a remote and said, fix this immediately and get the Panthers on some screen somewhere. I would definitely just kind of put my foot down in that situation.
But if it came to having to kick someone's ass, Billy Lindsay would have no problem doing so.
I've never been in a fight off the ice in my life. So
I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second.
But if I actually had to get someone, if someone would have to throw the first punch, I wouldn't instigate it. But if they got mad enough and threw a punch at me, then it's time to get down.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a feeling Billy's been in a couple of scraps here and there. No. Billy Lindsay, love talking to you. We'll talk to you again throughout the Stanley Cup Finals. Appreciate it, Billy.
All right, thanks, Emma, and all the best.